Hey, sexy people, it's Mark Yagi. Hope you're doing well. Listen, I've been running this cash flow machine covered put experiment on DR Horton over the last few weeks, and I want to kind of give you an update of what's going on before I do the roll. So let me just kind of show you what's going on. You can see I have a couple of covered put positions that I'm experimenting on, I'm learning with, and so I'm combining all this and I'm putting them all here live so you can kind of see what's going on. So we're going to focus here on this DHI position. Started a few weeks ago, I'd like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And basically what we're doing is we're buying a put and we're selling puts against it to create income. We're not trying to predict that it's going to go down or up, although if you remember right, I think I showed you the chart of how I think DHI and the whole housing sector is actually going down. And so DHI being the leader in that, I think it's going to lead the way down, certainly right now. And you can see today it's down right now $4.30. So it's a good enough day because it's Friday and it's a day to roll. And so I'm going to show you the position. So you can see I've got no shares, but I've got synthetic calls created against it. So I've bought puts. Now, puts go up in value when the stock goes down in value. I know it's the dark side. I call it the dark side, Darth Vader, right? So you buy the put and it gains value when it goes down. But I short the put and I'm really shorting it for the income, right? The juice. The juice was the extrinsic value on that day, and I'll show you the math and how it works out. And today you can see the juice is worth a nickel, right? So it was $1.14 when I sold it, or $114 a contract, and I got 40 contracts, so it's pretty good paycheck. And I just had to wait a couple weeks, and there's a few transactions that happen in here that are adding up. It's not all on the screen. So, when you add it all up on the spreadsheet, which is a pain in the butt, that's why I don't do these math update videos very often, but I can show you what's going on. So what I'm going to do is after I do this video, I'm going to roll the position, but if I roll it now, it's going to confuse all the math. So I'm just going to show you where I am. So I bought these 40 synthetic 125s, and I sold against them 40 124s. And my goal is to just kind of get this to become a free position. I paid $840 a contract, and now I'm whittling away at it with this juice number, which I'm continuing to get. So let me show you how the math works on that. And then after I finish all this stuff, I'm going to go and roll it to the next week and the next week and the next week and keep printing money the way I look at it, doing covered puts, not covered calls, but covered puts. Here we go. So let me explain what's going on the screen. And if you've seen some of my other update videos, math videos, you know what's happening. But you have to export everything from your account into a spreadsheet to be able to calculate it. So that's what I do. So what I do is I pull out all the beginning base position numbers and I say, all right, I bought, I've got 20 contracts that I bought on the 24th and 20 contracts that I bought on the 25th. And these are the DHI 125s and they're shown on the screen. And so I've got 40 contracts. Here is what I paid for them, and I net that amount out. That's how much it cost me. That's how much I took out of my wallet. That's why it's a negative number. And then I go and I show you what the value is on the screen. So if you remember right, the value is 31,000. Okay, so you can see the 31,000 there on the screen, and I just put that there. Now that updates constantly while the market's moving, so that's why I've taken a little quick snapshot and show you that it's 31,000 there. And then I take all these short positions, and you can see I've kind of grouped them from, I sold to open, I got 40 contracts, and I bought those back, and it cost me this amount of money to buy them back, and then the next week I sold to open, and I bought those back, and you can see the net number right there. Now this week, I'm about to buy them back, but I didn't want to do that because it's a little confusing, so I'm about to buy them back, and they're worth about a nickel, like I just showed you on the last screen. So I sold them for $1.14 or $114 a contract, and I'm paying, let's call it, $5 a contract to buy them back. And so that's an estimated amount. It could be another penny or two either way, but I think it's going to be really close to that. And so I just net these out, and I put this in here in the non-base positions net. So I got 3 numbers. The first one is how much I paid for the base position. The second one is how much the base position is worth right now if I closed it out and just went to cash. And the third one is the non-base positions net. These are all these short positions that I shorted and bought back, blah, blah, blah. And this is how much we've roughly netted on those. And I'm going to continue to do this and gain, $3,000, $4,000 a week or whatever the number is. But you can see here, if you add all those up, you've got your gain and loss right in here. And so I've made $7,300 before this next covered call that I'm going to do, and that should keep whittling it down. And if you remember right, after a while, this $33,000 gets cheaper and cheaper. Right now, that $33,000, is down to what, 23,000. Anyway, you can look at it a bunch of different ways, but the idea is to get a free position and continue to sell calls against it until I'm done with the position, which right now is showing June 20th. Okay, so right now, again, because we're in a negative market, because I'm doing covered puts on the way down, I'm just doing it for the income. I'm creating a nice bit of income over the last 3 weeks of a couple grand a week, let's call it. Okay, makes sense? Okay, the last part was I just rolled the order. Sorry I didn't do it live. I didn't hit the record button. But anyway, the bottom line is I moved from these puts that are 124s that are expiring today, and I sold the puts that are expiring next week for the same strike price, and I picked up $1 in juice for those, okay? So these last ones were like 2.5 cents or whatever, so it cost me almost nothing to get out of those, but I picked up $1 a contract. That's $4,000 for the week. So not a bad trade overall, and I hope you're getting the idea that this is just about the income. So, if it continues to go like this, I'm going to have a free position, and I'll be able to sell against it until the end of the position. Hope that makes sense. See you on the next video. Bye. Hey, it's Mark Yagi, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do that right now. That would be a great favor to me, and plus it helps me get this material out to a lot of other people that might need it. I've got a little bit of a movement going on here, and I want to try to change the world one person at a time, showing them that you can make safe, reliable income from the stock market. And plus it helps to grow the channel a little bit. Also, if you would give me a thumbs up on the video and like it, great. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down, that's cool. But just tell me why you don't like it so I can get better. And then hit the notification bell so you can get these videos as soon as they come out, because a lot of times this is timely information and you want to get that information before it gets stale. The last thing is to join my free Insider Tips newsletter. There's a link below, and you get everything in one spot. You get breaking news and analysis also. So that would be great if you could do that too. See you soon.